is our second main topic today?
Well, John, our second one comes to us from the Antagonistic Anonymous. Hey, Campea crew. A recent report by The Direct indicates that Wandavision director Matt Shakman has signed on to direct the upcoming Fantastic Four. It is important to iterate this is not 100% confirmation, as this is not being reported by trades such as Deadline or The Hollywood Reporter. And the Direct website itself has listed it as a rumor in the headline. That being said, if this is true, Shakman has an impressive resume with WandaVision, Game of Thrones, The Boys, and Succession, and will be interesting to see how it translates on the big screen. John, if this ends up being true, what do you think of the choice for Fantastic Four? Thanks.
All right. So, yesterday, I think we were doing our She-Hulk pregame show. And I started getting messages saying, hey, everybody's reporting that Matt Shakman is being tapped to direct Fantastic Four. And I still continue to get a lot of people saying, everybody, like all these places are reporting it. It needs to be pointed out very clear. Let's bring up the Direct website there for a second, if that's what we've got there, Jonathan. It's important to note that nobody else is reporting that Matt Shakman has been tapped to direct Fantastic Four. But John, I also saw it. Yeah. But what all those other sites are doing is saying the Direct is saying this. Nobody else is reporting. I'm not saying this means it's false. I'm just saying I want to be very clear about what's happening here. So you may have seen the headline on the John Campea Show, or you may have seen the headline on a dozen other websites. But nobody else, I did a little bit of looking into it. Nobody else is verifying this. Nobody else is saying, yes, we also heard that Matt Shakman is doing it. Again, that doesn't mean it's not true. I'm just saying only one place is saying it.
Right.
With that being said, they themselves are saying that this is a rumor, and maybe it'll get confirmed and maybe that it won't. But it ran all over the place a lot yesterday to the point that we had to address it here today. So I think Antagonistic Anonymous asked at the end of his question there, if it's true, and let's indulge that conversation. Let's go, if this is true, and we're not saying it is, but if it is, how would we feel about it? Well, I'll tell you what, the Matt Shakman thing checks a lot of boxes, Rob. He is an experienced director.
Yeah.
Not just an experienced director, but an experienced director with high profile projects, experienced in the world of Marvel, and has delivered what I consider to be, personally, the best Disney Plus content yet with WandaVision. I mean, the job he did on that was incredible.
Plus, it was a lot of weirdness. You know, recreating the different sitcoms, shooting in front of a live studio audience, and then giving us the sword base and the sci-fi elements. I mean, he did a great job.
Now, so how would I feel if it was Matt? Surprised. It's not a name I would have thought about, to be honest with you. So I would be a little bit surprised, because I actually felt that they would probably go for something a little bit more with more film experience. And what we heard coming out of reports before is that Kevin Feige wants like a Sam Raimi, that he knows he can just leave that. Because remember, Kevin Feige, this is the unfortunate state of the MCU right now. Kevin Feige cannot have direct hands on the projects anymore, at least not on all of them, because there's just too many. So he's looking, the previous report that came out a few months ago said that Kevin Feige was going to be looking for somebody that he did not have to manage.
Yeah.
That he could just give them the movie and then not have to be hands-on with it, because Kevin Feige's attention is going to be elsewhere. Is Matt that guy without feature film experience? Maybe yes, maybe no. So if they got him, I'd be surprised, number one, but as a fan, I would be totally comfortable with the choice. Like it's not a name that I'd be jumping up and down. It's like, wow, they nailed it. But it's like, yeah, that's a pretty solid choice, and I would feel very comfortable with it. Rob, you're quite invested in the idea of this Fantastic Four movie. You know, we've talked about the potential director. I mean, John Watts was going to be directing. Now he's gone and all that kind of stuff. What do you think about, number one, do you think it will end up being Matt? And then number two, if it is Matt, how would you feel about him as a selection?
Well, I think it'd be great if he did this, because, you know, it's not just a director. They have to have a director who understands how to work with visual effects.
Yeah.
And working on things like Game of Thrones and WandaVision, he had a lot of experience dealing with that. And that's something a lot of people don't think about. You know, when a lot of these movies, people transition from doing lower budget stuff into these big budget movies, and suddenly, you know, you're dealing with all kinds of effects and backgrounds that aren't there, and it's hard to direct these kinds of films. And obviously, Kevin Feige, I'm sure, feels comfortable with them. I mean, WandaVision was their first show out of the gate, so it wasn't just an MCU show. It was an important show for Disney.
It was the flagship
for the
coming
whole,
out. Yeah,
for the
launched
whole
everything.
And they trusted him with that. And I think, the thing about Fantastic Four is we're following on the heels of 3 pretty high-profile Fantastic Four films over at Fox.
I thought you were say 3 high-profile disasters, but yeah, please continue.
No, that were not exactly as well received as one would hope.
That's fair.
And I think that the Fantastic Four really should be a cornerstone of the MCU, and the fact that they haven't made one, I mean, obviously for obvious reasons because of Fox,
right?
They haven't done it, but I think this is like WandaVision. This could be a very important the shot in the arm that the MCU needs. You're bringing in some heavy hitters. I mean, Reed Richards is one of the elder statesmen of the MCU, and to see a great look, I just want to see a great Fantastic Four movie, and I think Shakman's a good choice. I think he could do a great job.
Now, look, I'm not going to lie. There are other names I would prefer to hear. Obviously, everybody is on the same page. We would love to hear that John Krasinski was directing it.
Or Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg was a name that came up. I mean, I think that's delusions of grandeur a little bit.
I know.
But I mean, I would lose my shit if we found out that Steven Spielberg was going to be directing this film. I honestly think a Peyton Reed. I mean, for years now, that was always our go-to choice, right? Like we always thought Peyton Reed's the guy to do a Fantastic Four movie. So I think that's still a possibility, especially, with Ant-Man being all wrapped and stuff like that. But I mean, again, if it comes down to it and it does end up, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's actually going to end up being Matt. But if it is, I'd be like, yep, that works. That works. And they could really deliver something special here. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Number one, do you believe the rumor that Matt Shakman is going to end up directing Fantastic Four? But even if you don't, let's say for a second that it does turn out to be true and Matt Shakman does direct it. Do you feel comfortable with that? Maybe you had a couple of other directors you were hoping for, but you'd be perfectly good with Matt. Maybe you don't like the job Matt has done on the various television stuff that he's worked on. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, MeUndies. Now guys, we've all heard of gut instinct, but have you ever heard of butt instinct? It's when your butt tells you it wants new undies. Listen to your butt. Luckily for you, we work with MeUndies, makers of the most buttery soft and sustainable undies, bralettes, and socks that exist. Guys, for too long, I lived my life wearing those Amazon or Walmart 20-pack cheap underwear that I thought were just fine until I tried MeUndies. Now it's like my nether regions are in a Palm Springs resort. So guys, let your skin sing a song of joy with undies, socks, and bralettes that feel as if they're spun from silken clouds. Guaranteed to be the softest stuff you've ever felt in your life, their signature micromodal fabric is sustainable, breathable, and stretchy as heck. Available in sizes extra small to 4XL, they have new colors and prints dropping weekly, so there's always something exciting to check out. Try out their free-to-join membership for free shipping on every order and exclusive perks, like an item shipped to your door every month, secret sales, and early access to their newest stuff. MeUndies has a great offer for all John Campea Show viewers and listeners. For any first-time purchaser, you get 20% off, plus free shipping and returns. To get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea.